619 Aquadan, 669 Miss Destruction, 71 Catrix, 721 El Limon, 79 Colonel Angus, 909 Smooth Criminal, and number 9098 Blu-ray.
And your skaters for the Chicago Bruise Brothers are number 1, Chi-Town Choker, 1337 Akira, 15 Smackaroni, 16 Marcomedes. There are some inventive names here. Number 19 Ragnarocker, number 2 Fillmore Payne, 217 Racer Rex, 314 Val Revan, 35 Ben Hurt, 350 Rage, 556 Shenanigans, 813 Twinkle Beef, 85 Ice Hurt, 88 Up and Atom, and 92 Ricky Ricochet.
I have a sneaking feeling the chat will let us know if we're mispronouncing any names.
Oh, I'm sure we are, and I'm sure they will.
On the Derby Beast Jammer line right now, looks like we've got number 85 jamming for Austin Anarchy. Oh, I'm sorry, for the Chicago Bruise Brothers. So that will be Ice Hurt taking the lead for the Bruise Brothers. Sharknado out of the pack. But that is going to be 3 points going to Chicago to start off this game.
You know, a lot of our skaters have been favoring that pivot line this weekend.
That top sports pivot line.
Oh, yeah.
On the line now, we've got Freight Train jamming for Austin. Ben Hurt donning the star for Chicago.
Oh, Freight Train coming around turn 2 to pick up lead. Ben Hurt fighting their way through that Anarchy wall.
So Freight Train will grab their points and call off that jam. So that is going to be a 3-point jam for Austin Anarchy.
So we are tied after the second jam at 3-3. Fun stuff, y'all.
What a nail biter.
And that score update was brought to you by our OCP scoreboard. OCP, we care about our bottom line.
We've got Sharknado now in the white, jamming against Smackaroni in the blue. Aquadan called off on a penalty, and lead jammer will go to Smackaroni.
And Smackaroni coming around for 4.
Meanwhile, Sharknado, star in hand, still trying to muscle through that tough Bruise Brothers wall.
That Bruise Brother wall is very tough to get through.
You telling me you know from experience?
You mean from yesterday? Yeah, it was a lot of work.
It's going to be another 4 points for Smackaroni, who calls off the jam, and that is a 12-point jam for the Bruise brothers. It's going to put our score now at 15 Chicago, 3 points for Austin. Just over 26 minutes left in the half.
You know, I know Smackaroni is a solid pun, but it also sounds like it could be a Chef Boyardee meal.
I feel like you just played a game and you're hungry. So we will have a power start now with Austin's jammer standing in the penalty box. The CVM penalty box, that is.
Ragnarok are fighting their way to the top to the Anarchy wall. And Bruise Lee is stuck in the back behind that Bruise Brothers 3 wall. Ooh, we have got a handful of skaters for Anarchy in the CVM penalty box. Unfortunately, it looks like their pivot and a blocker are there with 1 to go.
With Ragnarocker having lead status, he's going to be looking to capitalize on that dearth of blockers. Let's see if he runs this jam. Oh, he is going to call it off and freeze those 2 Austin blockers in the box. So Chicago will be starting the next jam with a 4-3 pack advantage. Wait, is that... Wait, did I have 3 in the box?
Yeah.
Oh, I misspoke. That's actually 3 in the box for Austin. And Austin looks like is going to be taking a Toy Division team timeout.
Toy Division. I got nothing right now. I'm sorry. I'm running on fumes. I'll come up with something a little bit.
Toy Division is a locally owned vintage toy company.
It's owned by us, so that's why I'm just kind of having a little fun with it.
Toy Division buys and sells vintage toys. If you've got that dusty box in your mom's basement full of Power Rangers, we pay cash for toys. We got you covered.
And we'll actually be here all weekend, so if you want to bring some toys for us to buy from you, we're here. Just find out our nonsense.
All right, that is the end of our timeout. 4-1 pack advantage now. And lead is going to go to Ice Hurt from the Chicago Bruise brothers.
Ice Hurt absolutely taking off from that Derby Beast Jammer line and getting around quickly.
Some nice work from Sharknado with the star from Austin working up the middle. Grabs their initial, so Ice Hurt is going to call off that jam. Freezing 1 Austin blocker in the box. All right, so that is Ben Hurt from Chicago grabbing lead jammer. Freight Train ran the start from Austin, forced to draw back there. Ben Hurt muscles through the top of the pack. 4 points for Chicago. Freight Train now out on their initial pass. Ben Hurt coming in hot. We'll see if he tries to grab some more points. So that is going to be 2 more points for Chicago. It's a 10-point jam. Ben Hurt calls it off. Our score now, 37 Chicago, 3 points for Austin Anarchy.
And it looks like we've got a team timeout called by the Bruise brothers. While we're waiting, we can talk about a few of our other fantastic sponsors we have here at iHod.
Our pivot line today is sponsored by Top. They've got the pivot line today, but they've also got your pivot caps tomorrow. Check out Top. Made in the USA with top-of-the-line fabric and top quality construction for top-tier players. We are also sponsored today by Urban Apothecary, and their products will be available all weekend over at the A Prince Massage Station.
Also, just a shout out to our officials for today's game. We got Rita Slayworth, Millie Dread, Nomad counts. Oh, doesn't matter. Elemental, Tiny Titanium, Thriller, RDFM, Candyman, Effin' Ref, Gym Class Hero, and then also for our NSOs and other people, we have Count Stefano, Grinding Nemo, Sadie Masochist, The Docha, and Wheelin' and Sasson.
All right, so at the start of this jam now, we've got Smackaroni grabbing a quick lead jammer for Austin. Sharknado also out on their initial pass. Looks like Smackaroni's noticing there are a couple Chicago blockers in the box, so they're going to run this jam, see if they can get that penalty box cleared. Which they do, so that jam will be called off. And that is going to be a 4-4 jam. Score now 42 Chicago Bruise brothers, 7 points for Austin Anarchy. Scoreboard today brought to you by Venture Industries. Go Team Venture. Oh, and it looks like that is an official timeout. All right, with 6 blockers on the track, we're going to start this jam off with Ragnarocker jamming for Bruise. Bruiser Lee jamming for Austin Anarchy.
Looks like someone might have lost a cap on the ring.
Whoop.
And by cap, I mean knee cap. Knee pad cap, I should specify.
So Ragnarocker will be your lead jammer, with Bruiser Lee putting on the gas, also out on their initial pass.
Looks like Ragnarokker's waiting for their blocker to get out of the box in order to call it.
You've got a racing pack.
Ooh.
For those of you watching at home, I think we may have an injury on the track. So we're going to take a brief break. Not entirely sure what happened, but it does look like the skater left the track of their own volition. So that's good.
Gotta tell you, the pancakes on our We'll Be Right Back screen sure do look delicious.
I think maybe you just played a game and you're getting a little hungry.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Score now for our friends at home. 44 points for the Chicago Bruise brothers, 7 points now for Austin Anarchy. Just over 20 minutes left in the first half of this game. Score update brought to you by Underworld Corp. Congratulations, you're dead.
All right, and it looks like we're going to get back to the action.
We've got iHod now jamming for Bruise. Freight Train wearing the star for Austin Anarchy. Ooh, some big offense there by the Bruise brothers, so iHod will be lead jammer.
You got to keep your head on a swivel when you're playing against Bruise because they love to come up with those big hits for offense.
Freight Train just powering up the top of that pack, peeling off blockers.
Oh.
She is out on her initial pass as well. So iHod's gonna grab 4 points and call off this jam. All right, we've got Sharknadoes jamming for Austin, grabbing a quick lead. Ben Hurt, however, hot on his heels. And we are bleeding blockers into that CVM penalty box.
Looks like Chicago's got 2 blockers in the box, and Anarchy has got 1.
That is a 3-2 pack advantage in favor of Chicago on this jam, and that is going to be a quick lead now, grabbed by Smackaroni. Bruiser Lee is still back fighting through the pack, and they are out on their initial. Some nice footwork there by Smackaroni, running up that inside apex. And some nice time management there by the Chicago Jammer, getting that penalty box cleared, calling off that jam just in time. So it's going to be another 4 points for Chicago. Score now 52 Chicago, 11 points for Austin. 17:47 left in the half. Sharknado now with the star for Austin, grabbing a quick lead.
Ragnarok are quickly jumping out to get their initial. And Sharknado's going to go ahead and call it. Sharknado was able to pick up 4 on that last jam.
I'd like to give a shout out to Derby Beast, one of our big sponsors for this weekend. They are sponsoring the Derby Beast Jam line. Searching for the perfect jersey that fits like a dream, can be pulled, stretched, and won't snag? Derby Beast has you covered, literally. Crafted from durable, quick-dry, 260 GSM polyester elastic blend that wicks moisture.
Oh, Freight Train finding their way on that inside line to pick up lead. Chicago making it out not too far behind, coming around the track. Let's see how many points for. Oh, Freight Train's pushing forward.
Wow.
Oh, beautiful. Freight Train able to pick up all 4 of those points.
Nice work by Freight there. Starting this next jam with a full contingent of blockers. We've got Ben Hurt in the blue, jamming against Miss Destruction in white.
Oh, Ben Hurt almost making it to the top of the pack, but gets knocked out and drugged back.
Oh, and looks like that is a power jam now for Austin. Miss Destruction, I believe, still working on that initial pass.
Still no lead established. Oh, there we go.
Some
Miss
nice,
Destruction picking up lead for Austin.
some nice offense there by Austin. Ben Hurt now out of the box. Miss Destruction drag, all the way back to turn 2. Big hit there by Twinkle Beef, but that is gonna send him to the box. For our friends at home, I believe that is an official timeout. And we do have a skater down on the track, so we've just got our medics out there, making sure everybody's all right. We want to thank all of our medics and all of our volunteers this weekend. We could not do it without you.
We genuinely appreciate you being here so we can play this sport.
I'm unfortunately intimately acquainted with what good work our medics do. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Let's not talk about that. I'm scarred from that incident.
Score update now for our friends watching at home. We're sitting at 52 points for Chicago, 21 points for Austin, 14-11 left in the first half. And just to keep everybody in the loop, our skaters are okay. Looks like a skater from Austin had a little bit of a rough fall, but they did leave the track of their own volition. For all of our friends here who are at the venue, beautiful Queenie Park today, just wanted to give you a heads up that during the half of the next game, which will be our last game of the day, we are going to have our 50-50 raffle drawing as well as the end of our silent auction. So if you're trying to get those silent auction items, aka a lifetime supply of pancakes, or you want to get a few more tickets, you can hit up those ticket sellers. You've got till halftime of our last game today.
All right, and we're about to get back to the action here.
For a 3-pack advantage in favor of Austin, Twinkle Beef starting in the box. We've got Chi-Town Choker jamming against Sharknado.
Oh,
Lead jammer is
Sharknado
gonna go to
picking
Shark.
up lead. Chi-Town Choker taking a pretty big hit on the outside there. Anarchy recycling on them. And they make it through the pack for their initial.
So that was a 4-point pass for Sharknado, who's in a race now with Chi-Town Choker. And looks like he is opting to run that jam. So that is 4 more points for Austin and 4 points for Chicago as well.
Twinkle Beef picking up a forearm in the pack. Sharknado coming through for 4 more and calling it. Oh, and that brings our score. Chicago Bruise Brothers 58, Austin Anarchy 33. This score update was brought to you by Team Rocket. Team Rocket, give us your Pikachu, twerp.
I love that so much. Freight Train now in white, jamming against a Ragnarok in the blue. Freight peeling off blockers at the top of the pack, grabbing lead jammer.
The jammers for both these teams are just putting on some solid hits on these walls. Freight Train making it through for 4 and is going to call the jam. Looks like Austin Anarchy has 1 blocker in the box.
I think that might have been a Chicago blocker in the box.
Did I just say Chicago? I don't know. It's been a long day.
We've got Bruiser Lee wearing the star for Austin.
Oh.
But lead jammer is going to go to
Ice Heart for Chicago. That was a great little sneak around on the inside line.
Yeah, that was pretty. Austin going for that big drawback on Ice Heart.
Bruiser Lee coming for some points after they made it through their initial. Oh, and number 2 able to get Bruiser Lee out. Looks like they might just run it on Bruiser Lee. Bruiser Lee able to make it through for 4.
That's another 4 points going to Chicago. Bruiser Lee now also working the back of that pack on a scoring pass. That's another 4 points for Austin. So that is going to be another 4 points grabbed there by Chicago. 12 points to them in that jam. 8 points scored by Austin Anarchy. Ice Hurt calls that one off. So we're now 71-45 in favor of Chicago. Just under 10 minutes left in the first half.
Slow moving scrum coming up the line there. Neither jammer having any luck right now.
Ben Hurt with the star for Chicago, going for that outside line, but does get dragged back. Meanwhile, Sharknado in that brutal crush at the top of the pack, just trying to peel off the Chicago blockers. And they do for lead jammer.
Oh, looks like this might be a power jam for Austin Anarchy. Sure is.
Yeah, didn't see what that call was. Oh, nice work by Sharknado there. Just kind of scooting up that inside straightaway. 4 more points for Austin.
Sharknado making it through for 4 more points.
Really nice swarm offense there by the Austin blockers.
Bruise Brothers Jammer returning to the track. Sharknado fighting their way at the top. They're gonna make it through.
Sharknado on another scoring pass while Austin's blockers try to drag Ben Hurt back as far as they can. Ben Hurt, however, doing a little hop over a downed Austin blocker. 4 more points for Chicago. And someone's going to the box for a track cut.
Oh, it looks like a blocker from Anarchy was assessed a track cut.
Oop. We're very Midwestern here.
Oh, it looks like we've got a team timeout from Austin Anarchy. This team timeout brought to you by Toy Division.
Tell me about Toy Division, Otter.
What do you want to know about Toy Division?
What can I buy from Toy Division?
You can buy all sorts of things from Toy Division, from My Little Ponies to, wow, my brain's just blanking there.
Can I get Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, you can.
Can I get Power Rangers?
You sure can.
Can I get Star Wars memorabilia?
Yep. Some very nice, rare Star Wars memorabilia as well. You ever heard of
Sure.
a blue snaggletooth?
We got one.
Toy Division, because you like nice things. We're just having fun here today, everybody.
I'd also like to give a shout out to Griever, who is going to be the tattoo artist here all weekend. Griever is located up on the balcony by the check-in spot. First come, first serve signups. $75 each, blank ink only. I think that might be black ink only. Arms and legs only. There's a flash sheet available on GK's social media or the event page. And if you know who Gudetama is, they've got you covered. Everyone go get yourself some caked up Gudetama flash, please. All right, now with this jam underway, we've got Freight Train jamming against Smackaroni, who is going to take lead jammer.
And it looks like a penalty was assessed to Freight Train, who will now be sitting in the box. So we've got ourselves a power jam. Smackaroni just jumping over blockers left and right to make it to the front. Woo! Some solid offense from Chicago, getting Smackaroni through for 4 more.
Ooh, Freight Train out of the box and hitting it hard up at the top of the pack.
Oh. Anarchy's pivot, picking up a track cut.
So that is going to be a 12-point jam from Smackaroni and the Chicago Bruise brothers. And we are going to start this jam 2 blockers down on the Austin side.
Looks like we've got ourselves a timeout of sorts. Looks like it might be an official timeout. All right, and we're back on. Game on.
So we've got Sharknado now in the white, jamming against Ragnarocker in the blue. Lead jammer will go to Ragnarocker. Sharknado pushing up that inside apex, but they are drawn back into turn one.
Anarchy able to catch Ragnarok on the inside there and pull them back. Oh, but unfortunately, one of them picking up a penalty in the process.
All right, so that will be another 4 points going to the Chicago Bruise brothers. So that's going to be 87-59 in favor of Chicago with about 4.5 minutes left in this half. That score update brought to you by Slurm. Suck some Slurm.
Gladly.
iHod now with a star for Chicago, grabbing a quick lead jammer. Freight Train, however, taking a nice shirt whip off the outside line on their initial. So Ice is going to grab what they can and call that jam. That's going to be 3 more points to Chicago.
I believe we have another official timeout.
For everyone hanging out in St. Louis today, our after party tonight will be located at Up Down STL. So good times are going to start at 8:30 p.m. They've got 50 plus beers on tap, 80 plus arcade games, craft cocktails, hand-tossed pizza by the slice, and so much more.
So wait, do they toss each slice, or they toss the full pizza and then cut into slices?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Up Down is also sponsoring this event, and all attendees are eligible to receive token cards, each of which are good for 10. That's 10 tokens to use on any of the arcade games there.
10 whole tokens?
10 whole tokens. That is 10 skee-ball sessions, my friend.
That is my childhood dream.
All right, and we are back in the action here. Looks like we are going to be starting with a 3-2 pack advantage in favor of Chicago.
Ben Hurt coming up on that inside line to take lead.
Big drag back up the straightaway there on Bruiser Lee, coming in star in hand.
Oh, Bruise Lee making it through for their initial. And it looks like the jam is called, and that will bring us to the end of our first half, leaving us with a score of 98 for Chicago Bruise Brothers to Austin Anarchy's 59. This score update was brought to you by Wayne Enterprise. Wayne Enterprise, we're just as bad as the rest. Although, I'm sorry, ignore me. I don't know what I'm saying. I am completely out of it. It's not the end of the half. There is a full 2 minutes left.
I
Amber?
thought I misheard you there.
Why aren't you telling me and hitting me? I can't believe I missed that. I'm sorry.
It's fine. So we've got Freight Train now jamming at Smackaroni with a big drawback. all the way into turn 4. I'm sorry, turn 3, but Lead Jammer will go to Freight Train. Smackaroni also out of the pack. Quick thinking there by Freight Train. Grabs one more point for Austin. Calls that jam.
Got just a little over a minute and a half left in this period.
Ice Hurt now with the star for Chicago, grabbing Lead Jammer. Bruiser Lee for Austin, still fighting their way up the top of the pack. Oh, gets muscled out. The outside of turn 1, forced to reset. A lot of falling there in the turn. Bruiser Lee is out on his initial. Ice Hurt out on their first scoring pass. We'll see how they run this with one blocker in the box from each team. Some smart clock management there by Ice. Waits until the last second and calls off that jam. So that is going to be a 4-0 jam in favor of Chicago. And we have got 12 seconds now left on the game clock in this first half. So this will be the last jam of the half. Ben Hurt now jamming against Freight Train. With Ben Hurt finding a nice lane on the outside line, grabbing Lead Jammer.
But Freight Train is right behind them on their heels. Each pack is getting ready to take a hit, and here they come.
Woo.
And the jam is called. That's going to bring us to our intermission. Let's see if anybody picked up any points on that. I'm seeing zeros. I don't think anybody picked anything up.
I'm seeing 0 points for Austin and one more point picked up by Chicago.
Chicago, there we go.
So that is going to bring our score to 103 Chicago, 60 Austin.
What? No, we have not. Okay. That's the one from Wally, right? Okay. Yeah. And we are back for our second half here for the Bruise Brothers Austin Anarchy game. Currently, the score sits at 130 to 60. Chicago Bruise Brothers.
Did you say 130?
103. 103.
Hey.
103.
You're a little punch drunk still. All right, and this second half is underway. We've got Sharknado in the white, Ice Hurt in the blue. Lead Jammer now going to Ice Hurt of Chicago. Chicago holding that inside line, forcing Sharknado to reset. Still got Ice Hurt fighting through the top of the pack. Sharknado now out on their initial pass. Ice Hurt trying to grab the point she can. And looks like that is going to be 4 more points going to the Chicago Bruise brothers. Oh, and it looks like the Austin Jammer is actually going to start this Jam in the Box, so this will be a power start now for Chicago. And Ben Hurt takes advantage, grabs a quick lead. So that CVM penalty box is cleared out now. We've got both jammers on the track.
Anarchy drawing a jammer penalty, sending Ben Hurt to the box. So we are going to be seeing a 2-minute jam.
Nice recovery there by Sharknado. Getting on through for 4 more points to Austin. I'm sorry, I think that may have been their initial pass.
Great soul save by Anarchy there.
Mm-hmm. Some tough blocking this jam. Sharknado just grinding it out now at the top of the pack. All 4 Chicago blockers on defense.
And that brings the jam to its natural conclusion with the score sitting at 115 to 63. Chicago picking up 8 points, Austin picking up 3.
All right, looks like Chicago is calling for an official review. And this official review is sponsored by Urban Apothecary. You can grab your very own Urban Apothecary products up at the A Prince Massage booth this weekend. Urban Apothecary offers skater-made wellness products like gummies for focus, rest, and sleep, topical pain relievers, and bath soaks. They'll be at the massage booth all weekend or online at urbanapothecary.shop.
And if you're here at the venue looking for a little treat for yourself, check out Odd Way Out. Odd Way Out is a queer-owned small business by our very own Soup Beans, who I've played with twice this weekend. Fabulous person, absolutely love her. They specialize in handmade accessories to get your weird on. I believe for a while, one of her top-selling items was fake teeth as a necklace.
Yeah, I think they've got the teeth necklaces, teeth bolos.
A lot of teeth over there, so if you don't like teeth, do not go to her booth. It might terrify you. You know, if you have weird dreams about your teeth falling out and things like that. Hopefully I'm not making you think about it right now, because that would be awful. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Chicago's looking for a cut on white jammer.
Okay.
No cut was reserved. They will not return.
Okay. Sounds like Chicago was calling an official review looking for a white cut on the white jammer. However, no cut was observed, so the no call will stand.
Oh, Oh, Freight Train absolutely absorbing that hit to get lead.
All right, so that is going to be 2 points grabbed by Freight Train from Austin. She calls off the jam, so that is going to put our score now at 65 points for Austin, 115 Chicago Bruise. Just over 25 and a half minutes left in this game. We've got Bruiser Lee now jamming against Ragnarocker. Ragnarocker trying to muscle up through the top of the pack.
Looks like we have a handful of Anarchy skaters in the CVM Sports penalty box. Ragnarocker picked up lead coming around on a scoring pass, but Anarchy was able to get out for their initial. Chicago picking up 3 points and calling it.
So we've got Ice Hurt now jamming against Freight Train. Lead jammer goes to Freight Train. Ice Hurt fighting that last Austin blocker up at the top of the pack. They are out on their initial.
Freight Train calling that jam before Ice Hurt could come back around. Or wait, actually. There we go. Okay. And it looks like Austin picking up 4 points, leaving the score at 118 for the Bruise Brothers to Austin Anarchy's 69. We got a little bit of confusion on the track, not sure what's going on.
All right, looks like Austin is going to start this jam 2 blockers down. So we've got Sharknado for Austin jamming against Ben Hurt of Chicago. Ben Hurt finding that daylight on the outside of turn 1 to grab lead jammer. Sharknado, however, putting on the gas. Also out on that initial pass. And it looks like Austin's in a little bit of penalty trouble here this jam, so they will be starting the next one with 1 blocker on the track. And that's going to be Smackaroni grabbing a quick lead jammer for Chicago. Meanwhile, Bruiser Lee of Austin out on their initial pass. Got our jammers playing a little pushy shovey in the back there.
Smackaroni making their way through the pack to pick up 4 more points.
Oh, Bruiser Lee forced out on the outside apex for a big drawback. Smackaroni fighting through for another scoring pass. I believe we're at 12 points now on this jam for Chicago. And 4 points to Austin. 30 seconds left in this jam.
And after that jam, that brings our score to 136 for Chicago Bruise Brothers to Austin Anarchy 73. Chicago picked up 14 and Anarchy picked up 4. Although it looks like we have ourselves an official review.
That is an Urban Apothecary official review. And you can find all those wonderful Urban Apothecary products over at the A Prince Massage and Wellness Station. You can book now with A Prince Massage. They offer massage sessions and walk-up services, including 15 and 30-minute massage sessions, leg compression space pants, cold heat therapy, hydration, and, of course, wellness products from Urban Apothecary.
I just want to give a quick shout out to the member of the audience who is clacking that fan. You are doing an amazing job. I can hear it all the way over here in the announcer booth.
Love a good clack.
They're looking for an illegal contact with the down skater. No contact was observed. They will not retain. White was the requesting team.
Okay, thank you. All right, sounds like Austin called this official review requesting illegal contact to a down skater. However, no illegal contact was observed, so Austin is going to lose that official review. And we've got Ragnarocker now jamming against Freight Train. Freight Train grabbing lead jammer. The smart re-entry there on the top of the apex. Ragnarocker, meanwhile, out on their initial pass. So Freight Train's going to pick up 3 more points for Chicago. That is going to put our score at 76 Austin, 136 Chicago Bruise Brothers. This score update brought to you by Aperture Science. We do what we must, all because we can.
Sharknado getting through the pack there to pick up a lead for Austin. Oh, and it looks like we are on a power jam for Austin. Icehurt went to the box.
Sharknado peels off those bruise blockers up at the top of the pack, grabbing 4 points for Austin. And Sharknado going for another scoring pass, but they are dragged back to that straightaway. Meanwhile, Icehurt is out of the box and back on the track.
Sharknado making it through the pack for 4 more points. iHod fighting their way through those Anarchy blockers. Oh, picking up a forearm, unfortunately, at the top of that pack.
All right, so it looks like Shark opted to call that jam, freezing iHod in the box, so Austin will be starting the next one on a power jam. However, it looks like the blocker advantage is going to go to Chicago. Austin now 2 blockers starting in the CBM penalty box. Freight Train is going to be your lead jammer for Austin.
Freight Train just pushing their way through that Chicago wall to pick up 4 more points.
There's some pretty footwork at the top there.
Chicago's jammer is back on the track and makes it through for their initial. And Freight Train's going to call that, bringing the score to 140 for Chicago and 92 for Austin Anarchy. This score update was brought to you by Planet Express. Planet Express, delivering to most of the known and some of the unknown galaxies.
We've got Ben Hurt going up against Bruiser Lee now on the Derby Beast jammer line.
Oh, Austin Anarchy makes it through for lead jammer. Bruise Lee coming up to try and score some points, but they've got Ben Hurt hot on their tail. Classic points and call it.
All right, so that is going to be 2 more points for the Austin Anarchy.
And it looks like we've got Smackaroni out there for the Bruise Brothers against Sharknado, who makes it through for lead jammer.
All right, so we're going to end that jam with 4 more points going to Austin. Going to put our score now at 136 Chicago, 98 Austin Anarchy. About 14 and a half minutes left in this game. 4-3 pack advantage on the start here for Austin Anarchy. We've got Freight Train jamming against Ragnarocker. Freight Train going for that inside line. The lead jammer. Oh, looks like is going to be Freight Train on a power jam. Ragnarocker sent to the box.
Freight Train getting knocked out to the inside and dragged back. And it looks like Freight Train's going to call it, leaving a Chicago blocker and their jammer in the box. So this is going to be a power start for Austin Anarchy.
Like Austin's been doing a really nice job locking it down a little bit in the second half, slowly chipping away at that Chicago lead.
Yeah, both these walls are definitely putting up in a fight for these jammers.
Ooh,
And Sharknado making it through to pick up lead jammer. Chicago quickly emptying the box. Chicago's jammer back on the track. Sharknado just running it while Chicago fights to get their initial.
So that jam is going to end with another 8 points going to Austin Anarchy, who passed the century mark. So we've got 136 now, Chicago Bruise Brothers, 106, Austin Anarchy. And with just under 12 minutes in the half, we've got a 30-point game. And that is a toy division team timeout called by Chicago. Toy Division is a St. Louis-owned, fully inclusive toy store selling new and mostly vintage toys. Toy Division buys and sells toys. Hit up Toy Division on their socials, shoot them a message. Let them know what you've got. If you've got anything you're looking for, if you've got anything that's ready for a new loving home, Toy Division's got you covered. As we've got a little bit of track maintenance going on, I just want to shout out Splatter as well as all of our volunteers this weekend. We couldn't make this tournament run without you. We love you, Splatter. We've got Bruiser Lee in the white jamming against Ice Hurt in the blue. Ooh, and with both of our jammers out of the pack fighting for position. However, lead goes to Bruiser Lee of Austin. And with Ice Hurt gaining about a quarter of a lap there, Bruise is going to opt to call off that jam.
And we've got Ben Hurt for Chicago going up against Freight Train. Ben Hurt making it through the pack to pick up lead. Oh, and this is going to be a power jam for Chicago with Freight Train going to the box.
Oh, and that is going to be a penalty called on Truffle Shuffle wearing the stripe for Austin. And Freight Train now released from the penalty box. Ben Hurt on a scoring pass.
Oh, Freight Train picking up a cut. Ben Hurt making it through that pack. Austin looks like they were only left with 2 blockers on the track. I think 1 got out of the box, so they're at least going to have 3 to start with, but it will be a power start for Chicago.
We've got Smackaroni jamming for Chicago, out like a shot. Fighting off that last Austin blocker. Some nice one-on-one, but Smackaroni is out for lead.
That was some brutal recycling from Anarchy, but Smackaroni was able to make it through to pick up lead, but coming right back around into that 3 wall that's just fighting him. Looks like Freight Train was able to make it through on their initial out of the box.
Smackaroni running down as much clock as they can, calls off that jam with 4 points, and it looks like we are going to have another power start for Chicago. I don't think I caught what Freight Train went to the box on, did you?
Sorry, what was that?
I don't think I caught what Freight Train went to the box for.
I did not see it. It happened right at the end of the jam, though.
So we are going to start this jam with Ice Hurt donning the star for Chicago.
Anarchy with a full blocker contention up there, just stomping ice in their tracks. But here comes Chicago to provide some much-needed O. Icehurt makes it through to get lead. Freight Train just working their way through that wall.
Freight Train coming in with all the power of it. Freight Train.
Like a freight train. Yeah, there you go.
Sorry, we had to say it. That's going to be 4 more points to Chicago. But that was probably a crowd favorite jam for Freight Train. That was cool.
Sharknado making it through the pack to pick up a lead. Oh, but Ragnarokr was able to get out on their initial, but Sharknado makes it through, picking up 4 points. And they're going to go ahead and call it. With just under 6 minutes left in the half, the score sits at 152 for Chicago to Austin Anarchy's 110.
So both our teams will be starting with 1 blocker in the box. And we've got Ben Hurt jamming against Bruiser Lee. Ben Hurt going for power at the top of the pack. A smart re-entry there in the apex. They are out for lead.
Bruise making it through the pack on their initial. Oh, Anarchy getting Ben Hurt out on that outside in turn 2. And it looks like he calls it right before Austin could pick up any points.
Score now 155 Chicago, 110 Austin Anarchy. Just over 4 minutes left in the half. The score update is brought to you by the Guild of Calamitous Intent. Hate you can trust.
Freight Train making it through with some excellent offense and picking up the lead.
That was some nice jamming for power there by Freight Train. Grabs 4 points on that scoring pass and calls off the jam. And we've got just over 3 minutes left on the game clock. We've got Sharknado jamming for Austin, trying to work that tripod at the top of the pack. Smackaroni doing the same thing in the back. Lead jammer, however, going to Sharknado. Some really tight defense on this jam.
Anarchy still holding Chicago on their initial. Just doing a great job recycling on that jammer. Oh, Chicago's going to get the pass through. And Austin picks up 3 more points on that round, bringing their score to 121 to Chicago's 155.
So we've got just under 1:30 left on this game clock. Ragnarocker with the star for Chicago, grabbing lead jammer. Meanwhile, Chicago going for that soul crush on Bruiser Lee of Austin.
Bruiser Lee still fighting through that Chicago pack to get their initial, while Ragnarocker comes through for a scoring pass. Oh, and it looks like Bruiser Lee was able to get through. Ragnarokker's going to go ahead and call that, and we've got just over 40 seconds left in this half.
All right, down to the wire. This may be our last jam of the game. Don't forget, my friends, the 50-50 raffle will be called during halftime of our final game. I believe that is going to be the St. Louis Gatekeepers taking on Yalhalla. And Ice Hurt is going to be your lead jammer from Chicago.
I think it was a no pass, no penalty, so I think ISER just made it through on their initial, but I don't believe lead was assessed.
Oh, you're correct.
So
Ooh, some nice one-on-one blocking by Austin up there.
we are just left to jam time with about a minute and 14 left to go.
Now iHod's lead. I think Freight Train's still working on that initial pass, forced to reset in the back. And Freight Train is out on their initial pass.
Still no lead established, so I believe we're just going to look at a 2-minute jam to finish it out.
Looks like iHod is going to run this jam. Some nice work by Freight Train, grabbing another 4 points for Austin. All right.
And that's going to bring the jam to its natural conclusion. Currently, the unofficial score sits at 171 for Chicago Bruise Brothers to Austin Anarchy's 129. Both of those jammers did such a great job on that last jam, just fighting until the end.
That was a spicy one.
Good way to end a game, if you ask me.
All right, looks like we are still at the unofficial score, so we will let you know it ain't over until it's over. Oh, and I guess that is our official final 171 Chicago Bruise Brothers. 129 Austin Anarchy, a hard-fought game by both teams.